So today we are going to be going over Haramain L'Aventure Intense. So not too long ago, I did a Creed Aventus clone buying guide. And so essentially my idea behind that was to take a look at all of the affordable Aventus clones on the market, the ones that you're going to hear about the most, and rank them based off of performance. And I've done a few other buying guides following a similar format, but for all intents and purposes, we're focusing on the Aventus one. And guess what made it at #1 as the best performer on the affordable clone side? It was this one. And so I'm sure that left a lot of questions for people. And so today I'm going to be just basically giving you a full rundown, a full review, and we're just going to be talking all about L'Aventure Intense in particular, and we'll be comparing it to Creed Aventus itself. So this actually came out in 2019. It was almost kind of like a soft launch. You know, I don't remember this getting a ton of hype when it first came out. Not really sure why that was. It just kind of seemed to go under the radar. It's been a slow burn type of thing where you see it pop up here and there a little bit. I mean, you can even look on FRAGRANCEBUY.CA trends and you can see just a few years ago, it was, you know, not really getting a whole lot of talk. Now, more so recently, and probably especially after I put that video out, this one is starting to get some more interest. And so we're just going to go over this one right now. And so when you spray this one on, it has a lot more of a bergamot opening to it. So generally, when you're looking at Creed Aventus style scents, they oftentimes do have kind of a bergamot pineapple combination. Even actual Aventus itself uses some of that bergamot up top really to kind of balance out that sweetness of the pineapple. And so essentially this one, it doesn't go too far in the direction of syrupy sweet pineapple. That's one thing that I found with certain Aventus clones where they go in that direction and it almost throws it off. Now, sure, you could probably go and find some Creed Aventus batches if you want to go down that rabbit hole, and maybe some of them are syrupy, super sweet pineapple-y. But traditionally, that's not how Aventus is anymore. If you buy a new bottle like this one, or you know, whatever it may be within the past year or two, couple years, it's going to be a lot more fresh off the top, a lot more bergamot-y with that pineapple. And that's how this one is. So to me, L'Aventure Intense is kind of a little bit more modern Aventus. It's taking after that approach, which I don't really think is a bad thing because, again, I like the freshness and the brightness of modern Aventus these days. You know, this doesn't go in the direction of something like, for example, if you're talking about a clone, Lattafa Rave Now Black, that one has that pineapple-y, fruity, syrupy sweetness. Or if you're talking about something else, a Nishane Hasavat, that one has a ton of sweet pineapple mixing in with the oak moss. Those can become cloying real quick in the summertime. And I've had experience with that with the Nishane. I've had to scrub it off before in the summer. And so generally for me, Aventus is a summer scent. And so I like how Aventus nowadays is going in that fresher direction, and this one will follow up with that. So when it comes to choosing a clone, that's something you want to make sure you pay attention to. And so I just wanted to touch on that here. This one has that bergamot going on. But ultimately, you do find that as it starts to move into that dry down, you're starting to get some of the birch. You know, you're getting the signature ambergris, ambroxan, whatever it may be, right? It's going to be ambroxan in this instance, and it probably is in the Creed too, right? And you know, just the classic Aventus woods. You know, you get a little bit of black currant as well, a little bit of lemon out of this one with that bergamot, and as you transition into the dry down and the woods are starting to come through, that's kind of what you get. Another point I want to make is this one doesn't go too much in the smoky direction, and again, it's playing off of modern Aventus. There are clones out there, Creed Aventus clones, that go in the smoky direction, you know, really amping up that birch tar note, and kind of going after vintage batches of Aventus before it was, you know, drastically reformulated. But that's not what this one's going to be. And you'll find when you take a look at a lot of forums and do research and you see what gets guys the most compliments, a lot of it was actually coming from the fruitier, fresher batches of Aventus rather than the smoky batches of Aventus, which is what everyone goes crazy for. And even to this day, people are still trying to find smoky Aventus, right? And they're spending an arm and a leg on it. If you're after compliments and you're after smelling good to the vast majority of people, like most of you probably are, you're going to want modern Aventus. because I'm sure as it all gets on our nerves how Aventus has been reformulated and changed over the years, and its final form now is significantly different than it once was, it might be for a good thing. It's kind of almost moving with the times a little bit here as the fragrance world is changing and evolving, and what people find sexy or attractive is also changing. And so this one really plays on that. And that's also why I really like this clone. It's modern Aventus. This is so familiar to me, you know. It smells like bottles of Aventus that I have on hand right now that I wear out of. I have old batches. I've got 2016s and 2017s. I don't wear them that much. I wear my new ones mostly. And so I think this one is really on par with what they're putting out today. However, one key difference here you might find is the performance, and we'll talk about that now. As you could probably expect, this is a great performer, being that it made it at the top of my Aventus buying guide list, and it is a really good performer. On my skin, 12, 14 plus hours is where this sits. And like I've talked about before, anything beyond that, you're getting into the splitting hairs category. You're getting to the point where there's almost no sense in trying to stress about tracking it down to the number, because if something is lasting 14 hours and beyond, how much more do you really need? It kind of becomes a gray area. Performance and nothing about fragrance is really scientific in terms of how we perceive them, and so it's something where if you get to that point, you're doing really, really well, and a lot of things will never get to that point. And so for it to last that long, for being cheap, you know, $30, $35, I think is really saying something. And if you're after a strong performing Creed Aventus clone that's going after the new batches, this is going to be for you. And we'll also touch about quality here real quick. Significantly better than the original L'Aventure, in my opinion. It's better than some of the other really cheap Aventus clones, and there are some designer Aventus clones, and by that I mean not clone brands, but designer brands putting things out that are similar. This actually kind of has better quality than some of those as well. Like personally, I think this one is better executed than something like Mont Blanc Explorer, believe it or not, which sounds crazy. There went my cap. But it really does, to me, come across a little bit more well-blended than something like Explorer. And so I think for what it's worth, this one really holds its own in the quality category, and that's also important. You know, ultimately, when it comes down to it, you got to think of what you're looking for. You know, if you want fruity, sweet Aventus, this is not going to be for you. If you want smoky, old school, old style 2010 Aventus when it first came out, this also is not going to be for you. I think that's the beauty of having so many clones, while it can be annoying and frustrating, and ultimately why it can make it very hard to make a decision on which one you should buy. It does add at least some sort of benefit. And again, guys, if you want to go into a deeper dive of some of the other clones, go check out that buying guide video I did. Again, this is the best performer, and that's what that video was ranked off of. It wasn't off of, you know, anything else other than that. So in terms of other styles of Aventus clones, it had nothing to do with that. So I go over some other ones in that video as well. Personally, I think if you can get this one for around $30, $35, it's definitely worth it. You're going to get something that has great performance, great quality to price ratio, new modern batches of Aventus, a new modern take on it, but still being, again, very close to Aventus itself. You get great accuracy out of this one, and it impressed me a lot more than I thought it was going to, because I have a lot of great Aventus clones. I'm sure you guys know that. I've talked about a ton over the years, and so going into it, you start to kind of get a little bit cynical, and you're like, all right, is this going to be good? Is it going to be a waste of time? You know, because you already have so many. But this one impressed me, and I think that's saying something. So I will drop a link to this one down below for you. Again, if you can get it for an affordable price, I think it's worth it if you're after a Creed Aventus clone with amazing performance. Also, I'm posting deals on my community tab every single day. I'm sending out emails as well, so you can get those deals via email to kind of give you a notification. Just recently, a couple days ago, we had Stronger With You Absolutely come into stock. We had the One Luminous Night. We had Guerlain L'Homme Idéal Extreme, and what else? I think it was one more, all within one day, and they all sold out usually within 30 minutes to an hour after I posted about it. So if you're after rare fragrances like that, get signed up to the mailing list and check my community tab like every hour. I'm going to get you guys hooked up with amazing stuff. Just follow along. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.